this is really one of the, I guess, biggest red flags for me is that the Secretaries of Defense and State Attorney General and the National Security Council leadership aren't regularly meeting at a time of crisis in the Middle East. Who exactly is in charge? Is it Obama? Who's calling the shots? Who authorized military action in the Middle East? And what chain of command did it go through? Because it wasn't the Secretary of Defense. He was in intensive care. There are a whole lot of questions here. The biggest issue here, my buddy Dan McLaughlin, who writes at National Review, pointed this out, this is government by inertia. We're going through the government motions, the motions that always go through on a regular basis. The bureaucracy is sustaining us during this crisis period. That's not a healthy sign. The Democrats like to talk about democracy. It's not a healthy sign for our republic, for a democracy, when it's the bureaucrats going through the motions when the Secretary of Defense is incapacitated in ICU and nobody, including the President of the United States, his direct report, knows. Now, I'm sorry to those of you who you want to defend this and you make excuses for this, but if you're willing to defend this and he's not fired for this, you really need to shut up about Republicans defending things you don't like. Because this really does go to the very basic structure of our government. He really is a direct report. We are unquestionably in a time of global crisis. We launched military strikes on Iranian terror outlets and militias in Iraq last week, and he was incapacitated, out of the office, and his deputy Secretary of Defense, who had to be the one who authorized it, was on vacation in Puerto Rico and had no idea he was incapacitated in intensive care. You just can't blame Republicans for derelictions of duty when you're willing to turn a blind eye to this. The President of the United States can lecture all of us on Donald Trump and the horrors in store for us if he's restored to office, and the electoral college problems and the threats to democracy and the threats to the republic, but it means nothing if he's not willing to hold his own people accountable for things like this. We launched military action and the SecDef, unknown to anyone, was in ICU. That's a really big deal. So you can spare me the lectures on